Court, Tokyo Game Show 2021 just happened. We got the full recap and details and overall impressions. I think that it was, well, we'll see what everybody else says, but I think it was overall a pretty good success for Xbox, for Phil Spencer, when they're trying to speak to Japanese audience, Asian markets. Let's get into the news, though, recapping, summarizing all things from Tokyo Game Show. One of the first things we want to talk about here is actually when it comes to xCloud. Xbox Cloud Gaming launches in Japan, Australia, Brazil, and Mexico. Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, and Kareem Chowdhury, head of Cloud Gaming, shared that Xbox Cloud Gaming, the beta with Game Pass Ultimate, is officially launching in 4 new markets, with Japan, Australia, Brazil, and Mexico starting, well, today. The evolution of Xbox Cloud Gaming means that players can now decide how they want to play, whether it's on their PC, their mobile device, or tablet. Over 100 games on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate library are localized and will be playable from launch on October 1st. This coming from news at Xbox Court. What do you think about the Xbox Cloud Gaming launching in the additional markets and the localization piece?
I think from reading social media, I don't think people are making enough of a big deal of what this actually truly does mean. In these marketplaces, especially in the Asian marketplace, playing on their phone is huge. Playing mobilely is huge. And if people are going to be able to play wherever they are, like Xbox wants it to be, this could make the Xbox brand huge out there. And the games that we'll talk later that came to Game Pass hopefully will help that. But I think this gets Game Pass, and it's pretty much what they're trying, from what I got from the show, that's what they're trying to sell, into more hands. If they were only selling consoles, it would be a lot harder for them because it's not done as well. We've talked about this on a previous episode where the Xbox Series S is doing extremely well in Japan. And that is a online-only, download-only console, yet it's doing very well. Because they're not looking for that super duper Xbox Series X. They're looking for that, hey, I come home, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to be playing their games on the road. That's just what the culture does. So I truly feel that this is huge for Xbox and huge for Game Pass. And then the other markets like Mexico and such, all it can do is help them bring in more Xbox subscribers, right? They also, during that interview, that's where the slip up happened. And someone said that they had 30 million subscribers now, and Phil retracted and said, well, we've publicly only said 18, and had a big smirk on his face. So we're going to go off the premise of saying they have 30 million subscribers on Game Pass, and that's wild. They can get this marketplace, it's huge. And localizing their games is huge. We know how popular the Yakuza series or even Kingdom Hearts, when those games, or what's the Persona, when those games get localized, we even know people that play them when they're not localized, and then they play them again when they are. That's huge for this marketplace. The fact that they are taking the time to localize their games for those marketplaces is a huge feather in Xbox cap and shows that they're committed. Now, we'll talk more about what happened, and I will give my full opinion of the show, but continue.
Well, I do think that the 30 million is crazy because it was only 6 months ago. I think I was hearing and reading 20 million, 20-ish million, like not even 20 million. Yeah, that's a wild number. The other piece that they talked about at Tokyo Game Show was the new content coming to Game Pass, Scarlet Nexus, which we have in another episode you guys can go check out. They showcased a couple of titles there, but Scarlet Nexus being one of them, that is now on Game Pass today. Back for Blood, Somnium Files, and Mighty Goose, which will be available on Game Pass. The big thing that was coming out was that they announced the Bandai Namco title, Scarlet Nexus, in Japan, coming out to Game Pass day and date. I think that was a smart move by Xbox to try and hit and tap into that market. You are trying to push Game Pass as hard as possible, push a successful game like Scarlet Nexus over to players over there. More gamers playing, more people turning on their Xbox, more people using their phone to play a game like Scarlet Nexus. So I think it's a good strategy.
Yeah, to put a caveat is it will be on cloud. These games that they're announcing will be cloud. So that is a huge piece.
The other huge piece was Bethesda announces full Japanese localization for Starfield, and which is the biggest localization in history, and Redfall are being localized. So For players that don't know, what does it mean for this market court that when we talk about Xbox, Phil Spencer just puts it out there that these games like Starfield, their next biggest title after Halo, is going to be localized. What does that mean for that market?
First, it makes the game more relatable. So a game like this where you're creating characters or you're customizing characters and the game is actually localized to them and it's not, just subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, that game, you think about it, anything that would be done would be all subtitles. There probably is still subtitles in this game, but at the same time, this is, like I said before, showing commitment to the
Yep.
marketplace. This is showing everybody there, hey, invest in Xbox. We're asking you to invest in our platform, and we're investing in you, the player. Because if you look at it, even the number 30 million, it's not that big of a number knowing how many Xboxes are in the wild.
Yeah.
How many people have bought an Xbox? How many people we know that, like, I a co-host of one of my shows, Pez, he doesn't own an Xbox. He owns a PC. He has Game Pass. What Xbox's goal is they want everybody, whether you have an Xbox or not, as long as you have something that can use Game Pass,
Mm-hmm.
that you get Game Pass. Now, if they can get the Japanese marketplace to get in on Game Pass, the home run is there. It's huge.
They just
It's
have to
it's
back it. Yeah.
exactly. And I think localizing their games and working with companies like Bandai Namco and working with companies like Square Enix, with Avengers coming and with Guardians of the Galaxy, that's huge as well. Very big.
That was the other piece, and I'm totally with you. I think that this show is done very, very well for that market. Phil Spencer said in his initial intro piece when he's kicking off the game show, it was his overall message was about getting Game Pass, getting Xbox, getting Game Pass in the hands of as many players as possible, any way they want to play their game. That was Phil's overall message was play it how you want. You got it on an Xbox console, fantastic. PC, mobile, whatever you want to do. It's just use our app, use Game Pass. And that I really felt that from Phil Spencer's like that is the marketing message, that is the PR piece. It is not about the box. It has nothing to do with the Xbox console. To your point, if they went out and said, "Hey, let's advertise Xbox Series X." It would just flop. No one would care. Why are we talking about this? They laid out these specific games, partnerships, localization, all this stuff that speaks to that market. I think it was really smart. You mentioned Marvel. We have Marvel's Avengers Game Pass today. I'm trying to download it. It's not out yet from the time of this recording, but I'm going to play it even though I have it on my PlayStation, but I'm just to feel it out and try it on my controller. The other one is that they did mention at the showcase was going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. So we know it's a third-party title, but they really wanted to show off Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy coming from Square. Why do you think, Court, that they did this? Because it's a third-party game, it's going to be on everything, but why would Microsoft specifically show this off?
Well, there's always partnership deals. There's always, just like Call of Duty is always shown with PlayStation, there is always partnership deals. Xbox is trying to go towards a different audience. What better than a company like Square Enix, who conveniently is also working with them with the initiative on Perfect Dark. So it's kind of like a match made in heaven. So my guesstimate here is moving forward, we're going to see Square more and more at Xbox showcases, showcasing their games with Xbox. And when in the past, if you think about it, they were with PlayStation a lot. So you're going to see that they've obviously formed a partnership. And we're going to see more and more. And hopefully, this is just me, hopefully we get some exclusives that are only on Xbox. A Square game that's only on Xbox. Please, I'm okay with it. Like, I also was very curious when I saw that they mentioned only the PC specs for Forza. And they made a point of doing a whole video about it. Yeah. So that tells me during their research that Forza does very well on PC out there.
And it's a market that they want to be able to explore more. They probably want to push even harder with Forza to make sure that people that have these amazing systems that can crank out the fidelity and crank out the graphics for it. Forza is a gorgeous game. And if you got the PC and 4K monitors and everything at 120 hertz, you're going to have a great time racing around. The Marvel piece, the Square Enix piece, has me all tickled and interested. I think it's a smart move as they just announced Avengers, and they just popped it up on like Twitter in their feed the other day to go, hey, Marvel's Avengers is on Game Pass. Everyone kind of went, what? Really? Cool. And then at the showcase, they show off Square Enix's Guardians of the Galaxy. This does a couple of really good things. It's smart. They get the nice big hype and push from Marvel's Avengers right now. We have about a month, or excuse me, this month, Guardians of the Galaxy is launching. So with that time frame of having, 2 weeks, players can jump into Marvel's Avengers, try out that game for a bit, maybe play through the main campaign, a little bit of online, and then boom, Guardians of the Galaxy is releasing. And they go, oh, I'll get that on Xbox. And I think it's a win-win. Yes, it's on other consoles too, but I think it was just smart. And to your point, I think it'd be interesting to see what Square does with Microsoft going forward with any of the Marvel games. Let us know in the comments below, though. What did you think of Tokyo Game Show? Did it hit for you? What did you think about the announcements? We have some of the games that are coming out, and localization, I think, is a big, big deal. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think. We'll see you next time.